I'm Margaret, and I'm 34 years old. My husband's first wife died in a car accident 5 years ago. At least, that's what he told me. That's what everyone believed. Until she walked into my baby shower, 8 months pregnant with my first child, looked at me across a room full of pink balloons and baby gifts, and said 5 words that shattered my entire life. That's my husband. That's my ring. The room went silent. My mother dropped a champagne flute. It shattered on the hardwood floor, sharp, final. I looked down at my hand. The vintage diamond ring Michael had given me 3 years ago. The one he said had been his grandmother's. The woman stepped closer. Dark hair, pale skin, eyes locked on mine. She lifted her left hand. Same ring. Exact same ring. My heart stopped. Because if she was dead, who was I married to? And if she wasn't dead, what else had he lied about? Have you ever trusted someone so completely, only to realize your entire life was built on a lie? Sometimes the most dangerous secrets aren't hidden in shadows. They're hidden in plain sight, behind wedding vows, family photos, and promises made in front of everyone you love. If you've ever felt that sickening drop in your stomach when the truth finally surfaces, you'll understand this story. Subscribe, because we're building a community of people who know the worst betrayals don't come from strangers. They come from the people we trust most. And you need to hear what happened next. Michael stood frozen in the kitchen doorway. His face drained of all color. The woman, his supposedly dead wife, turned to him. "Hello, Michael," she said.
Her voice was calm. Too calm.
This isn't real," he stammered. You can't be here." "But I am here." She smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. "And we need to talk." My legs wouldn't move. I stood there, hand on my pregnant belly, surrounded by 40 guests who'd come to celebrate my baby, and watched my husband stare at a ghost. My best friend Sarah grabbed my arm. "Maggie, who is that?" That's supposed to be his dead wife." Sarah's grip tightened.
"What?"
The woman walked toward Michael. Everyone stepped back like she was radioactive. "You told them I was dead," she said quietly. "You had a funeral. You cried at my grave." Michael's hands were shaking. "Claire, I can explain."
Claire.
I'd heard that name before. Whispered in his sleep. Written in old photos he thought he'd hidden. The woman he'd mourned for years before we met. The woman who was supposed to be 6 feet under. "Explain?" Claire's voice rose. "Explain how you faked my death? How you stole my identity, drained our accounts, and married someone else while I was still alive." The room erupted.
Gasps.
Shocked whispers. My mother's voice cut through it. "Margaret, what is she talking about?" I couldn't answer.
Couldn't breathe.
Because I was looking at Michael's face, and I saw something that terrified me more than anything Claire had just said.
Guilt.
Not surprise. Not confusion.
Guilt.
He'd known she was alive. He'd known the whole time. But that wasn't the worst part. Because when Claire rolled up her sleeve and showed me the birthmark on her left wrist, the same one I'd seen in Michael's deceased mother's old photos, I realized something that made my blood run cold. She wasn't just his wife. She was the key to a lie so big it would destroy everything I thought I knew. And somewhere behind me, another glass broke. Maybe someone dropped it. Maybe it was me. I met Michael 6 years ago at a hospital fundraiser. I was a pediatric nurse working the night shift, exhausted, wearing scrubs under a borrowed dress because I'd come straight from work. He was a pharmaceutical sales rep, charming, polite, the kind of man who remembered your coffee order and asked about your day like he actually cared. Our first date was coffee. Our second was dinner. By the third, I was telling him things I'd never told anyone, about my father leaving when I was 12, about the fear of abandonment I'd carried ever since. He listened. Really listened. "I'd never leave you," he said one night, holding my hand across a restaurant table. "I know what it's like to lose someone." That's when he told me about Claire. We were 6 months into dating. Rain hit the windows as he pulled out a photo album I'd never seen before. "This was my wife," he said quietly. The woman in the photos was beautiful. Dark hair, bright smile, arms wrapped around Michael in every picture. Beach vacations, Christmas mornings, a wedding day with her in white lace. What happened?
I asked.
Car accident. 3 years ago. His voice cracked. Drunk driver. She died instantly. I reached for his hand. Michael, I'm so sorry. I thought I'd never love anyone again, he said. Then I met you. It felt like fate. Two broken people finding each other. He said Claire's family had cut him off after the funeral, blamed him for not being in the car that night. He said he'd moved across the state to start over, to escape the memories. I believed him. I believed him when he proposed 2 years later, slipping a vintage diamond ring onto my finger and saying it had belonged to his grandmother, a family heirloom, precious and rare. We got married on a Saturday in April. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. My mother cried. His parents didn't come. He said they'd passed away years ago. I loved him more for it. We were both alone in the world, building something new together. Our honeymoon was 2 weeks in Ireland. He took photos of me at every stop, said he wanted to remember every moment. I've never been this happy, he told me. I thought I knew him. I thought I'd married a widower who'd learned to love again. A good man who'd survived tragedy and come out stronger. I had no idea I'd married a liar. No idea every story, every tear, every tender moment had been a performance. No idea the woman in those photos, the woman I'd cried for, was still alive. And she was about to destroy everything. My best friend Sarah planned everything. Pink and gold decorations, a dessert table, games I pretended to enjoy even though I hated being the center of attention. 40 guests. My mother, my coworkers, Michael's colleagues from the pharmaceutical company. Everyone smiling, celebrating, pretending my swollen ankles were adorable. Michael had been acting strange all week. Jumpy, distracted, checking his phone, setting it face down whenever I walked into the room. Are you okay? I asked the night before the shower. Just work stuff, he said, kissing my forehead. Nothing to worry about. I wanted to believe him. I always wanted to believe him. The shower started at 2 p.m. By 2:30, I'd opened half the gifts and my face hurt from smiling. That's when the doorbell rang. Sarah went to answer it. I heard her voice from the entryway. Polite, confused. I'm sorry, this is a private event. Are you sure you have the right address? Then a woman's voice, calm and cold. I'm sure. Footsteps in the hallway. Everyone turned. And there she was.
Claire.
Standing in my living room like she'd never left. Like 5 years hadn't passed. Like she hadn't been dead and buried and mourned. She wore jeans and a simple black sweater. No makeup. Hair pulled back. Tired, older, but unmistakably her. Her eyes found Michael first. Then me. Then the ring on my finger. That's when she said it. That's my husband. That's my ring. The silence that followed was suffocating. My mother stood up. Excuse me, who are you? Claire Mitchell, she said. Michael's wife. His late wife, my mother corrected, voice sharp with protective anger. Claire's laugh was bitter. Late? Is that what he told you? I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. My hand went to my belly, protecting the baby from something I didn't understand yet. Michael stepped forward, hands raised like he was calming a wild animal. Claire, you need to leave. This isn't the time or place. When is the time, Michael? Her voice rose. When you've stolen another 5 years of my life. When you've married another woman while still legally married to me. Gasps rippled through the room. Sarah grabbed my arm. Maggie, sit down. You're shaking. I couldn't sit. Couldn't look away from Claire's face. Rage and pain carved into every line. This is insane, Michael said, voice steadying into something rehearsed. Claire, you're confused. You've been through trauma. Let me help you. Don't you dare, she hissed. Don't you dare gaslight me in front of all these people. That word hit me like cold water. How many times had he done that to me? Made me question my instincts, my memories, my reality? You're being paranoid. You're overthinking. You're tired. Claire stepped closer. Everyone else stepped back. You're Margaret, she said quietly. I nodded, barely. Did he tell you I was dead? Yes. Did he tell you this ring was his grandmother's? I looked down. The diamond caught the light, beautiful and damning. Yes. She lifted her left hand. Same ring. Identical in every detail. He gave me this ring when he proposed 7 years ago. Told me the same story. His grandmother's heirloom. Precious. One of a kind. The room spun. That's impossible, Michael said quickly. Margaret, don't listen to her. She's not well. I have the receipt, Claire interrupted. From the jeweler. Dated 6 months before you faked my death. She held up the folded paper. Hands trembling. Proof. My legs gave out. Sarah caught me before I hit the floor. Through the chaos, my mother shouting, guests whispering, Michael stammering excuses, I heard Claire say one more thing. He did this before. To another woman. Before me. And that's when I realized I wasn't his second wife. I was his third. And if Claire was right about everything else, how many more were there? Somewhere behind me, a balloon popped. Everyone jumped. But the sound that stayed in my ears wasn't the pop. It was the echo of my heartbeat, breaking in rhythm. Sarah helped me to the couch. Someone brought water. My hands shook so badly, I couldn't hold the glass. My mother stood between me and Michael like a human shield. You need to leave. Now. This is my house, Michael said. His voice had changed, harder, colder. The charm was gone. Actually, Claire said, still standing in the center of the room, it's our house. Legally. Since we're still married, and I'm still on the deed. I looked up. What? Claire pulled out her phone. I have documentation. Marriage certificate, never annulled. Property records. Bank accounts he drained and closed without my knowledge. She swiped through screenshots, holding the phone toward me. I saw her address. Saw Michael's name. Saw her name right beside it. Claire Elizabeth Mitchell. When did you buy this house? Claire asked. 3 years ago. I whispered. Right after we got married. He told me he sold it, Claire said. Told me he needed to move on after the separation. I signed papers I thought were for the sale. Instead, he transferred my share to himself and locked me out. Michael's jaw tightened. That's not how it happened. I have the notarized documents. Claire cut in. The ones you forged my signature on. The ones the forensic accountant is reviewing right now. Silence. My mother's voice sliced through it. Forensic accountant. Claire nodded. I hired one 6 months ago when I finally tracked him down. Took me 4 years to find him. He changed his name, moved states, buried every trace of our marriage. I stared at Michael. You changed your name? He didn't answer. His real name is Michael David Harper, Claire said. He goes by Michael Stevens now. Stevens was his mother's maiden name. Easy to explain if anyone asked. Michael David Harper. I'd never heard that name. Never seen it on any document. Our marriage license said Michael James Stevens. You lied about your name? My voice cracked. I had to start over, he said quietly. After what happened with Claire, I needed a fresh start. What happened with me? Claire's voice rose. You mean when you emptied our savings, forged a death certificate, and disappeared while I was in a psychiatric facility? The room erupted again. I couldn't process it. Couldn't breathe. Psychiatric facility, someone whispered. Claire's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away from Michael.
He had me committed, she said.
Told doctors I was suicidal, delusional, a danger to myself. He was so convincing, the concerned husband, desperate to help his unstable wife. She laughed bitterly. I spent 6 months in that place. By the time I got out, he was gone. House sold, accounts empty, and a death certificate filed in my name claiming I died in a car accident. That's not true, Michael said, but his voice wavered. I have the medical records, Claire said. Involuntary commitment papers. Signed by you. Witnessed by your colleagues who swore I was a threat. She turned to me. Did he ever tell you I was mentally ill? I thought back, the careful way he'd mentioned Claire's struggles. The sympathetic tone. She wasn't well toward the end. Depression. Anxiety. I tried to help her. Yes, I whispered. Claire nodded slowly.
He does that.
Makes you think the woman before you was crazy. Unstable. So when you start questioning things, you'll doubt yourself instead of him. Gaslighting. That word again. How many times had I apologized for being too sensitive? For overreacting? For questioning things that didn't add up? You're tired, Margaret. Pregnancy hormones. You're imagining things. Sarah squeezed my hand. Maggie, we need to call the police. No, I said. Not yet. I looked at Claire. You said he did this before. Before you. Her expression darkened. Her name was Jennifer. Jennifer Reese. I found her through property records. She owned a house with Michael 8 years ago under a different name. Did you talk to her? I tried. Claire's voice dropped. She won't speak to me. Hangs up every time. But I found the divorce papers. He filed them claiming abandonment.
She didn't contest it.
Just disappeared. My stomach turned. How many? I asked, looking at Michael. How many women? He stared at the floor. How many? 3, he said finally. Including you. The room spun. 3 wives. 1 he divorced after making her disappear. 1 he faked the death of. And me, pregnant, trapped, living in a house that wasn't even legally mine. My mother's voice was ice. Margaret, pack a bag. You're leaving with me tonight. She can't just leave, Michael said quickly. This is her home. Our baby. Don't you dare talk about that baby, my mother hissed. You don't get to pretend you care now. Claire stepped closer to me. Margaret, I know this is overwhelming, but you need to understand something. I looked up at her. He doesn't just lie about the past, she said quietly. He plans for the future. Everything he's done, the fake death, the name change, the new marriage, it's all calculated. What do you mean? She glanced at Michael, then back at me. He's building an exit strategy. And when he's ready to leave, you'll disappear just like I did. Just like Jennifer did. That's insane, Michael said. But he wouldn't meet my eyes. Claire pulled out another document. This is a life insurance policy. Taken out on you 8 months ago, right after you got pregnant. $2 million. Beneficiary Michael Stevens. My blood ran cold. I didn't sign that, I whispered. Check the signature, Claire said. She handed me the paper. I stared at the signature line. It looked like mine, almost perfect. But the M in Margaret was slightly different, the way I used to write it 5 years ago, before I changed my handwriting after a patient once called it doctor writing. That's not my signature, I said. It's close, but it's not mine. Michael's face went pale. He forged it, Claire said. Just like he forged mine. Just like he'll forge whatever he needs to make you disappear when the time comes. Sarah stood, phone in hand. I'm calling the police.
Wait, I said. Everyone looked at me.
I stood slowly, hand on my belly, and walked toward Michael. He looked at me with those eyes that had once made me feel safe, the eyes that had lied to me for 6 years. Is she telling the truth? I asked quietly. Silence. Michael, is Claire telling the truth? His jaw worked. Then, finally, some of it. Not a denial. Not an apology.
Just some of it.
That's when I remembered. 2 weeks ago, Michael had asked me to update my will. Said it was responsible now that we were having a baby. He'd even brought the papers home, already filled out. I'd signed them without reading carefully, because I trusted him. And suddenly, I understood exactly what Claire meant. He wasn't just a liar. He was a predator. And I was 8 months pregnant with his child, which meant I couldn't just run. I had to fight. But first, I needed to know one thing. Was Jennifer still alive? The police came an hour later. 2 officers, a woman in her 40s and a younger man who kept glancing at my pregnant belly with concern. I sat on the couch, surrounded by baby shower decorations that now felt obscene. Pink balloons. A banner that said, "Oh baby." Gift bags scattered across the floor. The officer, Detective Lisa Park, listened to Claire's story first. Took notes. Asked for documentation. Claire had everything. Marriage certificate, property records, medical files from the psychiatric facility, bank statements showing the drained accounts, the forged death certificate. Mr. Stevens, Detective Park said, turning to Michael. Or should I say Mr. Harper? Michael's lawyer face slid into place.
Calm.
Reasonable. I'd like to consult with an attorney before answering questions. That's your right, she said. But we'll be investigating fraud, forgery, and possible identity theft charges. I didn't do anything illegal, Michael said. This is a misunderstanding. You faked a death certificate, Claire interrupted. You had me institutionalized under false pretenses. You stole over $200,000 from joint accounts. Detective Park held up a hand. We'll sort this out downtown. Mr. Harper, I need you to come with us. Michael stood slowly. Looked at me. Margaret, I can explain everything. Just give me a chance.
Don't, I said.
My voice was steadier than I felt. Don't say anything else. He left with the officers. The house felt bigger without him, emptier, but not safer. Because Claire's words kept echoing in my head, Jennifer Reese. After everyone left, after my mother tried to convince me to come home with her, after Sarah made me promise to call if I needed anything, Claire and I sat alone in my living room. Tell me about Jennifer, I said. Claire pulled out her phone, opened a folder of screenshots and documents. Jennifer Reese. Married Michael, under the name David Mitchell, 9 years ago. They bought a house in Oregon, joint checking account, the whole setup. She showed me a photo, a woman in her early 30s, blonde, smiling at a wedding. Michael beside her, looking exactly like the man I'd married. What happened to her? That's the thing, Claire said carefully. I don't know. The marriage lasted 2 years. Then Michael filed for divorce, claiming abandonment. Jennifer didn't contest it. The divorce was finalized quickly, too quickly. You think something happened to her? I think she was scared, Claire said. I found her through property records, but she won't talk to me. Every time I call, she hangs up. I sent letters, no response. Where is she now? Montana. Small town called Whitefish. Changed her name back to her maiden name. Works remotely for some tech company. Lives alone. A woman hiding in a small town, refusing to talk about her past.
She's afraid of him, I said.
Claire nodded. I think so. But without her testimony, I can't prove what he did to her. Can't prove there's a pattern. What if I went to see her? The words came out before I'd thought them through. Claire stared. You're 8 months pregnant. I know. But if she sees me, another woman he's trapped, maybe she'll talk. Maybe she'll help us. Margaret, that's a terrible idea. You need to focus on protecting yourself and your baby. He has a life insurance policy on me that I didn't sign, I said. A forged will. He's planning something, Claire. You said it yourself. He's building an exit strategy. She was silent a long moment. If I'm going to stop him, I continued, I need Jennifer. I need her to tell me what he did, how he operates, how he makes women disappear. Claire's jaw tightened. You need evidence. Legal evidence. Then come with me, I said. Help me get it. We left 3 days later. My mother thought I was staying with Sarah. Sarah thought I was staying with my mother. Michael was out on bail, staying at a hotel, prohibited from contacting me by a temporary restraining order. Claire drove. I sat in the passenger seat with my hospital bag, just in case, and a folder full of questions. The drive to Montana took 14 hours. We stopped twice. Once for gas and bathrooms, once because my back cramped so badly, I thought I was going into labor. We should turn around, Claire said, watching me breathe through the pain. I'm fine. I lied. Keep driving. Whitefish was small, mountain views, pine trees, the kind of town where everyone knew everyone. We found Jennifer's address through the property records. A small cabin at the end of a gravel road, surrounded by trees. Claire parked at the bottom of the driveway. Are you sure about this? I looked at the cabin. Lights on inside, smoke curling from the chimney. No, I said, but I'm doing it anyway. We walked up to the door. I knocked. Footsteps inside. A pause. Then the door opened a crack, chain still on. A woman's face appeared, blonde, older than the wedding photo, eyes guarded. Jennifer Reese? I asked. She tensed. I go by Jennifer Dawson now. What do you want? My name is Margaret. This is Claire. We're both married to the same man. Her face went pale.
No.
His name is Michael Stevens now. Used to be Michael Harper. Before that, David Mitchell. I don't know what you're talking about. She started to close the door. Please, I said. My voice cracked. I'm 8 months pregnant. He forged documents. He faked Claire's death. And I think he's planning to do something to me. Jennifer froze. I need to know what he did to you. I continued. Please. If you don't help me, I don't know what will happen to my baby. The door stayed cracked for a long moment. Then, slowly, Jennifer unhooked the chain. Come in, she said quietly. But you're not going to like what I tell you. Please, I said. My voice cracked. I'm 8 months pregnant. He forged documents. He faked Claire's death. And I think he's planning to do something to me. Jennifer froze. I need to know what he did to you. I continued. Please. If you don't help me, I don't know what will happen to my baby. The door stayed cracked for a long moment. Then, slowly, Jennifer unhooked the chain. Come in, she said quietly. But you're not going to like what I tell you. The three of us sat in silence for a long moment. Outside, the wind rattled the windows. The fire crackled in the hearth. Everything felt surreal. 3 women, connected by one man's lies, sitting in a Montana cabin trying to piece together the truth. He moves on, Jennifer said quietly. That's his pattern. He finds a woman, marries her, gains control of her life, her money, her identity. Then, when she becomes too difficult, when she starts questioning things, when the gaslighting stops working, he finds someone new. And the old one? I asked. Disappears, Jennifer said. One way or another. Claire's voice was tight. He tried to make me disappear by faking my death. He tried to kill and then let go when it didn't work. Because I had nothing, Jennifer said. No money, No assets worth taking. He'd already drained everything. Killing me would have been risky for no reward. She looked at me. But you're different. My hand went to my belly. The baby. And the life insurance, Claire added. $2 million. Jennifer nodded. He's escalating.
With me, it was about control and modest theft.
With Claire, it was property, savings, a more elaborate scheme. With you. She didn't finish. She didn't have to. He's planning to kill me, I said. The words didn't even sound like mine. Make it look like an accident. Collect the insurance. Probably after the baby's born, Jennifer said. Postpartum complications. Accidental overdose.
A fall.
Something tragic, but believable. Claire leaned forward. We need to go to the police. All three of us. Present a unified case. With what evidence? Jennifer asked. He's been careful. Everything I went through looks like mental illness and accidents on paper. Same with Claire. She was institutionalized. He's got doctors' reports calling her unstable. And me, I said bitterly. Pregnant, hormonal, emotional. If I accuse him of planning to murder me, he'll say, I'm paranoid. Jennifer nodded.
Exactly.
And people will believe him. He's charming, successful, respectable. We're just hysterical women with wild accusations. The hopelessness settled over us like a weight. There has to be something, Claire said. Some way to prove what he's doing. I thought about the documents Claire had shown me, the forged signatures, the life insurance policy, the property records. The forgeries, I said. If we can prove he forged my signature. That's fraud, not attempted murder, Jennifer interrupted. He'll call it a clerical error, pay a fine, maybe probation. But he won't go to prison. And you'll still be in danger. She was right. We needed more. Does he have a pattern? I asked. Timing, location, anything predictable? Jennifer thought for a moment. He moves every few years. New state, new name variation, clean slate. He's done it at least 3 times that we know of. Oregon, then where Claire was. I looked at her. Nevada, Claire said. We lived in Reno. And now Washington State. I finished. Always moving west. Probably heading toward Canada eventually, Jennifer said. Easier to disappear across the border if things go wrong. Claire opened a map on her phone. Oregon 9 years ago. Nevada 6 years ago. Washington 3 years ago. He's accelerating. The gaps between marriages are getting shorter. Because he's getting better at it, Jennifer said. More confident. More practice. I felt sick. What about money? I asked. Where does it go after he takes it? Offshore accounts, Claire said. I traced some of mine to a bank in the Caymans, but by the time I got a court order, the account was gone. He's been building a nest egg, Jennifer said. Every woman he's destroyed has contributed to it. My guess? At least $1 million hidden somewhere. Plus the $2 million from my life insurance, I whispered. Jennifer met my eyes. If you die. The baby kicked again. Hard, defiant. I'm not going to die, I said. The words came out fierce. I'm not going to let him win. Claire squeezed my hand. Then we need a plan. We spent the next 3 hours going through everything. Jennifer had documentation. Old bank statements, hospital records, photos of bruises. Enough to show a pattern, but not enough to convict. Claire had the forensic accountant's preliminary report, systematic theft, shell companies, forged identities. And I had something neither of them had. Access, I said. He doesn't know I've talked to you. He knows about Claire. She exposed him, but he has no idea you exist, Jennifer. That gives me an advantage. So, Jennifer asked, so I can get close. Search his things. Find what he's hiding while he still thinks he's in control. Absolutely not, Claire snapped. You're 8 months pregnant. If he suspects. He won't. I cut in. I'll play the part. The devastated wife.
Confused.
Willing to forgive if he just explains everything. Jennifer shook her head. That's suicide. Everything's dangerous now, I said. But at least this way, I have a chance. Claire looked at Jennifer. Something unspoken passed between them. If you're going to do this, Jennifer said finally, you need to be smart. Don't confront him. Don't let him know you're suspicious. Just observe.
Document.
Then get out. And have an escape plan, Claire added. Always. The second you feel unsafe, you run. I nodded. I will. But even as I said it, I wondered how you escape from a man who's made a living making women disappear. We left Montana at dawn. Jennifer stood on her porch watching us drive away, arms wrapped around herself against the cold. Do you think she'll be okay? I asked. I don't know, Claire said. She's been running for 7 years. I don't think she knows how to stop. Will we be like that? I asked quietly, always looking over our shoulders. Not if we stop him, Claire said. Really stop him. Put him somewhere he can't hurt anyone else. I looked down at my belly. The baby was quiet now, maybe sleeping. I'm going back to the house, I said. Tomorrow. I'll tell Michael I want to talk, that I want to understand what happened with you, that I'm willing to work through it. He won't believe that. He will, I said, because he thinks I'm weak. He thinks all women are weak. That's his mistake. Claire studied me. You sound different. I feel different, I said. I've spent 6 years being who he wanted me to be. Agreeable. Trusting. Easy to manipulate. I looked out at the empty road stretching ahead of us. But that woman's gone. Who are you now?
Claire asked.
I thought about Jennifer's scars. Claire's years of running. The child growing inside me. Innocent, unprotected, counting on me to survive. Someone he should have never underestimated, I said. When we finally pulled into my driveway 18 hours later, exhausted, aching, ready to start the most dangerous part of the plan, I froze. Michael's car was parked in the driveway. He wasn't supposed to be here. The restraining order prohibited him from coming within 500 feet of the house. But there he was. And the front door was standing wide open. Claire grabbed my arm. Don't go in there. But I was already unbuckling my seatbelt. Because in the doorway, framed by the light spilling from inside, was something that made my blood run cold. My hospital bag. The one I'd packed for this trip. The one I'd hidden in my bedroom closet. He'd been inside. Searching. Looking for something. Or worse, leaving something behind. Call 911, Claire said. Her hand was already on her phone. Wait, I said. Margaret, he broke a restraining order. He's inside your house. Our house, I corrected. Legally, he still owns half of it. His lawyer will say he had a right to be here. Claire stared at me. You're not actually defending him. I'm thinking like he thinks, I said. If we call the police now, he'll have an excuse ready. He'll say he came to get his belongings, that the door was open when he arrived, that he was worried about me. So what do we do? I looked at the open door. At my hospital bag on the step, a message, a warning, proof that he knew exactly where I'd been. We go inside, I said. We see what he wanted me to find. That's insane. Everything about this is insane. I opened the car door. But I need to know what he did in there. Claire followed me up the driveway, her phone in her hand, thumb hovering over 911. The house was silent. Too silent. I stepped over my hospital bag. It had been unzipped. He'd gone through it. The Montana hotel receipt I'd forgotten to throw away was missing. He knew. The living room looked normal at first glance. Same furniture. Same layout. But small things were off. The wedding photo on the mantel was turned face down. The drawer on the side table was open an inch. My laptop moved from the kitchen counter to the dining room table. He's been through everything, Claire whispered. I walked through the house slowly. Kitchen, drawers slightly ajar. Bathroom, medicine cabinet open just enough to notice. Bedroom, closet door cracked, my clothes shoved to one side. Then I saw it. On my nightstand. A piece of paper, folded once. My hands shook as I picked it up. Inside, in Michael's handwriting. We need to talk. I know where you went. I know what you're planning. Meet me tomorrow at noon, the coffee shop where we had our first date. Come alone, or Claire goes to jail for harassment and stalking. I have documentation.
Don't test me.
I read it twice.
3 times.
What does it say? Claire asked. I handed it to her and watched the color drain from her face.
He's bluffing, she said.
I haven't harassed him. Doesn't matter if it's true, I said. He has lawyers, money, credibility. He can make your life hell even if the charges don't stick. Claire crumpled the note. So, he's threatening me to control you. Classic. He's escalating, I said. He knows we're working together. He knows about Jennifer. He's running out of time. Time before what? Before the baby comes. Before I'm too weak to fight back. The baby kicked hard like it agreed with me. You're not meeting him alone, Claire said. I have to. Margaret, if I don't, he'll file charges against you. Then he'll go after Jennifer. He'll isolate us one by one. That's what he does. I looked out the window at the dark, empty street. But if I meet him, if I make him think I'm still controllable, maybe he'll slip. Maybe he'll say something we can use. Or maybe he'll hurt you, Claire said. You're 8 months pregnant. He knows how to manipulate vulnerability. I turned to face her. Then we make sure I'm not alone. Not really. The next morning, I woke up before dawn. Claire had slept on the couch with a kitchen knife beside her. Just in case, she'd said. But the night had been quiet. No footsteps. No headlights. Just the silence before something inevitable. The note waited on my nightstand. A trap disguised as an invitation. I dressed carefully, maternity jeans, soft sweater, sneakers. I looked like every other exhausted pregnant woman. That was the point. Claire made breakfast neither of us touched. Are you sure about this? She asked for the 10th time. No, I said honestly. But it's the only move left. She slid her phone across the table. I'll be there. Back corner. Wig, sunglasses, laptop. He won't see me, but I'll see everything. What if he recognizes you? He won't. I've planned for this kind of thing for 4 years. I nodded. I trusted her. Jennifer had too. What do I say? Let him talk, Claire said. Men like Michael can't help themselves. They explain. Just listen and stay safe. And if he tries something, you scream, she said. And I call 911. And we pray it's fast enough. The coffee shop hadn't changed. Same cracked booths. Same smell of espresso and sugar. Same tableware 6 years ago. Michael had told me he'd never leave me. Now I sat there 8 months pregnant with his child, waiting to confront the man who'd built his life on corpses made of paper. He arrived at 12:03. 3 minutes late, deliberate, controlled. He still looked like Michael. Neat shirt, easy smile, voice gentle enough to disarm anyone who didn't know better. But his eyes were different. Cold. Margaret, he said, sliding into the booth. Thank you for coming. You didn't give me much choice. You look good. How are you feeling? How do you think I'm feeling?
He sighed.
The gesture rehearsed. I know this is overwhelming. Claire showing up, it was a shock. A shock, I repeated. Your dead wife walking into my baby shower and calling you her husband? That's more than a shock. I can explain, then explain. He scanned a room for witnesses. His gaze skimmed past Claire in her disguise. Claire and I had a complicated marriage, he said finally. She was unstable, paranoid. She needed help I couldn't give her. Gaslighting.
Polished.
Familiar. So you faked her death?
I asked.
I didn't fake anything. There was a clerical mistake. By the time I realized what had happened, she was gone. I thought she was dead. That's a lie. It's the truth. You forged her death certificate. You emptied her accounts. You had her committed against her will.
She told you that.
She showed me proof. Michael leaned forward, voice low. Margaret, Claire's sick.
She's always been sick.
She's spinning a story to pull you in. You can't trust her. What about the name change? I asked. Why is your real name Michael Harper? I needed a fresh start. It was legal, filed properly. Nothing sinister. And Jennifer Reese? He froze. His jaw clenched.
Who?
Your first wife. She lives in Montana now. She told me everything. He stared at me for a long moment. His voice was ice when he finally spoke. You went to Montana. Yes. You had no right. I had every right. You lied about everything. Your name, your past, your dead wife who isn't dead. I deserve to know who I married. The mask cracked. I love you, Margaret, he said softly. Everything I did was to protect you, to give us a clean slate. By lying, by keeping you safe from women who want to destroy me.
Claire's obsessed.
Jennifer's unstable. They want to ruin what we have. What we have is built on lies. What we have is real. Our marriage. Our baby. Us. I looked at him and finally saw the truth. He didn't think he was lying. He thought he was justified. I'm filing for divorce, I said. His expression changed instantly. The charm vanished. No, he said. You're not.
Yes.
I am. Margaret. His voice dropped lower, darker. You don't want to do that. Think about the baby.
Custody.
Finances. You can't raise a child alone. Better alone than with a murderer. I'm not. What's in the offshore accounts, Michael? He froze. Claire traced the money. Cayman Islands. How much did you steal? 1 million. 2. That's not. And the life insurance policy. The one you forged with my signature. $2 million. Were you planning to wait until after the baby was born, or were you going to stage an accident sooner? Michael stood abruptly. The table rattled, spilling coffee across the floor. People turned to look. You have no idea what you're talking about, he said. Quiet, dangerous. Then explain it to me. He leaned down, so close I could feel his breath. You want the truth? He whispered. The truth is you're not as smart as you think. Neither is Claire. Neither was Jennifer. My blood turned to ice. I'm always 3 steps ahead, Margaret. Always. And right now, you're exactly where I want you. Then he walked out. I sat there frozen, one hand on my belly, because suddenly I understood. He wanted me to find Jennifer. He wanted me to trust Claire. He'd been orchestrating this from the start. Whatever game he was playing, we were already in it. Claire was beside me in seconds. What did he say? She pulled off the sunglasses, her blonde wig slipping sideways. Her face was pale, frantic. Margaret, what did he say at the end? I couldn't speak, couldn't move. Margaret. Finally, I whispered.
He wanted this.
What? He wanted us to find each other. That doesn't make sense. He said he's always 3 steps ahead. I looked at her. What if bringing us together was part of his plan? Claire froze. Why would he want that? I thought about it. 3 women, 3 stories, all with the same villain. Together, we looked powerful. But to him, we looked predictable. Because together, we look like a conspiracy, I said slowly. 3 bitter ex-wives teaming up to destroy an innocent man. Claire's throat tightened. He's not innocent.
No.
But that's what his lawyers will say. I could already see it, the courtroom headlines, the social media spin, the interviews. The charming husband, the grieving man, the victim of obsessed women. Jennifer's been hiding for years, I said. No police reports, no solid evidence. Just her word. That's enough to discredit her. And me, Claire added, voice small. I was institutionalized. I have records. They'll use that to destroy me. And I'm pregnant, emotional, easy to manipulate. He's setting us up, Claire. He's making us look crazy. My phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Margaret Cooper? The voice was firm, professional, Detective Park. We need you to come down to the station. There's been a development in your case. My stomach dropped. What kind of development? I'd rather discuss it in person. Can you come this afternoon? I glanced at Claire. Can I bring someone with me? Is Claire Mitchell with you right now? Yes. Then you should both come in. 2 o'clock. She hung up. Claire's hands trembled. What does she want? I don't know, I said. But it can't be good. The police station felt colder this time. Less like safety, more like a setup. Detective Park didn't take us to her office. She led us to an interrogation room. And that told me everything. Have a seat, she said.
We did.
She stayed standing. Miss Mitchell, she began, eyes on Claire. I need to ask about your relationship with Jennifer Dawson, formerly Jennifer Reese. What about it? Claire asked. She's filed a complaint. Harassment.
Claire blinked.
That's not true. I reached out because we both married the same man. A man you claim faked your death and stole your money? Detective Park's tone didn't waver. A man whose wife you confronted at a private event. Because a man you've been surveilling, documenting, accessing his financial records without authorization? Claire's face drained of color. I hired a forensic accountant. That's legal. Not if the information was obtained illegally. Detective Park opened a folder. We have documentation showing you hacked into Michael Harper's accounts, forged bank requests, and collaborated with Mrs. Cooper to entrap him. That's a lie, I said. Mrs. Cooper, please be quiet, she said, eyes flicking to me, pitying. You're 8 months pregnant. It's possible you've been manipulated by Miss Mitchell. That's not. Michael Harper has provided documentation, she continued, showing Miss Mitchell has a history of mental instability, obsessive behavior, and vindictive actions toward ex-partners. Then she slid a stack of papers toward me. He's also provided your medical records. I froze. How did he's your husband. He has legal access. I stared at the papers. Depression screening. Fatigue. Insomnia. Words circled in red ink. Proof, apparently, that I was unstable. He's framing us, Claire said. What I see, Detective Park said calmly, are 2 women who may have legitimate grievances, but have taken actions that could be considered stalking and fraud. He forged my signature, I said. He claims you signed and forgot. Pregnancy brain. That phrase made me want to scream. He'd taken everything, even my hormones, and weaponized them. He tried to kill Jennifer Reese, Claire said. Jennifer Reese has old scars from self-inflicted injuries, Detective Park said coldly. Hospital records confirm multiple suicide attempts during her marriage to Mr. Harper. He staged those. Or, Park said softly, she's mentally ill. And you're exploiting her trauma. The room tilted. This can't be happening, I whispered. Mrs. Cooper, Park said, voice suddenly gentle. If charges are filed, Miss Mitchell could face prison. You may face charges as an accomplice. I didn't do anything wrong. You crossed state lines to confront a private citizen. You recorded someone without consent. You've collaborated with a known unstable individual. That's a serious offense. I was trying to protect my baby, I said. From what? She asked quietly. A man with no criminal record? Or from your own fear? And that was the moment I realized Michael had already won the next battle before we even knew there was a war. Outside, the sun was too bright. Claire and I sat in her car, silent, both shaking. I'm sorry, she said finally. I didn't know he had access to your records. You thought you were careful, I said.
So did I.
But he's better. Always has been. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I told you, the text read. 3 steps ahead. Drop the divorce. Drop the accusations. And I'll drop the charges against Claire. You have 24 hours. I showed Claire. Her jaw tightened. He's giving you an out.
Giving us an out, I said.
If I stop, you stay free. Jennifer stays hidden. Everyone survives. Don't do it, Claire said. Don't let him win. If I don't, he destroys us. Legally, publicly. And he still has access to me and the baby. Then what do we do? I looked down. The baby shifted under my hand, restless. We can't fight him with lawyers, I said. He's too protected, too careful. But there's one thing he can't script.
What?
The truth. Not the kind you file in court, the kind that slips out when he thinks he's already won. Claire stared. You're going to bait him. I'm going to expose him. I typed the message slowly. I'll drop everything. But I want to talk first. Tonight. At the house. Just you and me. You owe me that much. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then, 8 p.m.
Come alone.
I set the phone down. Claire grabbed my arm. What are you doing? Giving him what he wants, I said.
Me.
Alone. Vulnerable. Exactly where he thinks I belong. Margaret, if you go in that house. I won't be alone, I said. I reached into my bag and pulled out a small black phone. The burner from Montana. You'll be listening. Recording everything. And if anything happens to me, I didn't have to finish. Claire's face said it all. This is insane, she whispered. Everything about this is insane, I said. But it's the only way to make him drop the mask. And if he doesn't, I thought of Jennifer's scars, of the years Claire had lost, of my unborn child's heartbeat under my hand. Then I'll make him break, I said, because monsters only hide for so long. I spent the afternoon preparing, not packing bags or calling lawyers or making backup plans, preparing myself. For what I was about to do, I needed to be calm, clear, unshakable. Claire wanted to go over the plan again, but there wasn't much to go over. I'd wear the burner phone in my pocket, recording everything. She'd be parked 2 houses down, listening through the pair device, ready to call 911 if anything went wrong. Simple. Dangerous. Our last option. What are you going to say to him? Claire asked. Whatever it takes to make him tell the truth. And if he doesn't? I looked at her. He will. Because he thinks he's already won. And when people think they've won, they stop being careful. At 7:45 p.m., I pulled into my driveway. The house was dark except for one light in the living room. Michael's car was already there. My hand shook as I turned off the engine. The burner phone was in my jacket pocket, recording activated, connected to Claire's device. I could feel it against my ribs like a second heartbeat. I texted Claire. Going in? Her response came immediately. I'm here. Stay safe. I got out of the car. Every step toward the front door felt heavy, final. The door was unlocked. I walked in. Michael sat on the couch, casual like he lived here, and I was the guest. He'd poured himself a glass of wine. Only one glass. Margaret, he said. Smiled. I'm glad you came. You didn't give me much choice. Sit down. I stayed standing. I'll stand. His smile faded slightly. Suit yourself. For a moment, neither of us spoke. You wanted to talk, he said finally. So talk. I took a breath. I want to understand why. Why what? Why you did this. All of it. The lies, the fake identities, the women you've destroyed. Why? He took a sip of wine. You're being dramatic. Am I? Jennifer has scars. Claire lost 4 years of her life. And I'm standing here 8 months pregnant, wondering if you're planning to kill me after the baby's born. I would never hurt you, he said, but his eyes were flat. That's what you told Jennifer. Right before you pushed her down the stairs. His jaw tightened. She told you that? She showed me the scars. She's a liar.
She fell.
She was drunk, unstable. She was terrified of you. I interrupted. Just like Claire was. Just like I am now. He stood up slowly. You're not scared of me, Margaret. You're scared of being alone. That's why you'll drop this divorce, drop the accusations, and we'll go back to how things were. Things were never real. They were real enough, he said. You were happy. I was happy. We had a life. Based on lies. Based on what you needed to believe. He moved closer. You wanted a devoted husband who'd never leave you like your father did. I gave you that. I played the part perfectly. The words hit like a physical blow. Played the part, I repeated. That's what marriage is, Margaret. Performance. I performed loving husband. You performed devoted wife. We both got what we needed. What did you need? He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes.
Control.
Resources. A clean identity. You provided all of that. There it was. The truth. Raw and ugly and finally real. So you never loved me, I said quietly. Love is a story we tell ourselves, he said. I told it well. You believed it. That's all that matters. And the baby? He glanced at my belly. Insurance. Literally and figuratively. A child ties you to me legally. Makes it harder for you to leave. And if something were to happen to you. He didn't finish. He didn't have to. The $2 million policy, I said. Smart investment. With my forged signature. He shrugged. You can't prove it's forged. And even if you could, what judge would convict a grieving widower who just lost his pregnant wife in a tragic accident? My blood went cold. You're really planning to kill me. Planning is such a strong word, he said casually. Let's say I'm preparing for possibilities. Women die in childbirth. Postpartum complications. It's tragic, but not unusual. Especially with someone who has documented anxiety and depression.
You documented that.
You made me look unstable. I documented reality, he interrupted. You are unstable, Margaret. Pregnant, emotional, paranoid. Working with Claire, who's mentally ill. Harassing Jennifer, who wants nothing to do with any of this. You look exactly like what I need you to look like. A victim no one will believe. Exactly. He finished his wine, set the glass down. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to drop the divorce. You're going to have the baby. And we're going to be the perfect family. And then, He met my eyes. And then we'll see how long you're useful. I felt the baby kick hard.
Like it was fighting with me.
What if I don't agree? I asked. Then Claire goes to prison for cybercrime and harassment. Jennifer gets dragged into court and has to relive every trauma I put her through. And you lose custody of our child because you're deemed mentally unfit. You can't do that. I already have the documentation, he said. Doctor's notes. Therapy recommendations you refused. Evidence of erratic behavior. One call to Child Protective Services and they'll remove the baby the moment it's born. The room tilted. You've thought of everything, I whispered. I always do. He moved closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne. The same one he'd worn on our first date. You're not the first woman who thought she could outsmart me, Margaret. You won't be the last. How many have there been? I asked. Really? He smiled. More than 3. How many are still alive? His smile widened. Most of them. I'm not a monster, Margaret. I'm practical. I only do what's necessary. Jennifer almost died. Jennifer was a mistake, he said dismissively. Too resilient. Wouldn't break the way she was supposed to.
But I learned from that.
Got better with Claire. Better with you. You're admitting everything. Why not? He leaned against the wall, relaxed. You can't prove any of it. No witnesses. No evidence. Just your word against mine. And who are they going to believe? A successful businessman with a spotless record, or a pregnant woman having a breakdown? I felt for the phone in my pocket. Still recording. Still transmitting to Claire. He was giving me everything we needed. What about the offshore accounts? I asked. The money you've stolen? Stolen is such an ugly word. I prefer relocated. Every woman I've been with has contributed to my retirement fund. It's only fair. I put in the work, I should get paid. You destroyed their lives. I gave them purpose, he corrected. They were all lost when I found them. Lonely, desperate for someone to love them. I gave them that fantasy. The fact that it cost them money and dignity is just the price of admission. You're a sociopath. I'm practical, he repeated. Emotions are tools. Love, fear, guilt, they're all just levers to pull. You pull the right ones, people do what you want. And you're never caught. Never. He smiled. Because I'm smarter than the women I target. Smarter than the police. Smarter than anyone who tries to stop me. I took a step back. My hand went to my belly. You're wrong about one thing, I said quietly. What's that? You're not smarter than me. His smile faltered. You think you've won because you've covered your tracks legally, I continued. But you just confessed to everything.
Fraud.
Attempted murder. Planning my death. Theft from multiple women over a decade. Your word against mine, he said. But something in his voice had changed. Not just my word. I pulled out the burner phone. Showed him the recording app. Still running. Claire's been listening to every word. And she's already sent the recording to Detective Park, my lawyer, and Jennifer. His face went white. You're always 3 steps ahead, I said. But this time I was 4. He lunged for the phone. I stepped back, hit the wall, and screamed. Outside, car doors slammed. Sirens wailed. Claire burst through the front door first, phone in hand. I called 911 the second he admitted attempted murder. Police flooded in behind her. Michael stood frozen, trapped, finally caught. Detective Park handcuffed him herself. Michael David Harper, you're under arrest for fraud, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. He didn't fight. Just stared at me with something I'd never seen before.
Fear.
You won't win, he said as they led him away. You'll never prove. I already did, I said. Every word you just said is documented, time-stamped, and legally admissible. You manipulated me into telling the truth? That's not manipulation. That's justice. They took him out. The house suddenly felt huge and empty. Claire grabbed my arm. Are you okay? I wasn't, but I was alive. And I was free. I'm okay, I said. We're okay. The baby kicked in agreement. The trial took 8 months. 8 months of depositions, testimonies, expert witnesses, and forensic accountants uncovering the truth Michael had buried in offshore accounts. 8 months of watching him sit there, in an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed, stripped of every ounce of charm and control. My daughter was born 3 weeks after his arrest. I named her Hope. It felt right. Claire was there when I went into labor. Sarah too. My mother held my hand through every contraction, every scream, every moment I thought I couldn't do it. Hope came into the world at 6:42 a.m. on a Tuesday. 8 pounds, 3 ounces. Michael's dark hair. My eyes. She was perfect. And she was mine. Only mine. The day after she was born, Jennifer called. I hadn't heard from her since Montana. She'd refused to testify at first, too scared of Michael, too broken by what he'd done. But the recording changed everything. I heard it, she said, voice shaking. Everything he said.
About me. About the stairs.
About it being a mistake that I survived. I'm sorry, I whispered. Hearing that couldn't have been easy. It wasn't, she admitted. But it was also freeing. For 7 years, I thought I was crazy. Thought maybe I had fallen. Maybe I had tried to hurt myself. He made me doubt everything. I know the feeling. But hearing him admit it, hearing him laugh about it, she took a breath, steadying. I'm testifying, whatever it takes. I want him in prison for what he did to all of us. Thank you. No, Jennifer said softly. Thank you. You did what I couldn't. You fought back. The prosecution built their case like a surgeon, precise, methodical, devastating. 3 women. 3 marriages. 1 pattern of manipulation, fraud, and near-fatal control spanning a decade. Jennifer testified first. Told the jury about the gaslighting, the staged fall, the psychiatric commitment Michael had orchestrated. She showed her scars. Told them how she'd come to believe she was insane, because that's what he wanted. Michael's lawyer tried to break her. Isn't it true you were diagnosed with depression during your marriage? Yes, Jennifer said evenly. Because my husband convinced me I was losing my mind and then tried to kill me. Depression was a reasonable reaction. The courtroom went still. Even the jurors stopped taking notes. Then Claire took the stand. She presented bank statements, forged documents, and the fake death certificate Michael had filed. He made me disappear on paper, she said. While I was locked in a psychiatric facility he'd had me committed to, he was emptying our accounts and starting a new life with her. She nodded toward me. When it was my turn, I played the recording. 43 minutes of Michael's voice, cold, detached, unrepentant, admitting to everything.
Fraud.
Abuse. Planned homicide. The courtroom was silent when it ended. You could almost hear everyone breathing again. Michael's lawyer tried one last time. This was entrapment. I was in my own home, I said. Having a conversation with my husband. There was no entrapment, only truth. He sat down. Michael testified in his own defense. Big mistake. He started with charm, called me the love of his life, said he made mistakes but never meant harm, and painted us all as bitter, vindictive women. The prosecutor dismantled him piece by piece. Then explained the forged signatures. Clerical errors. Explain the offshore accounts. Savings. Explain why you told Mrs. Cooper that women like her die in childbirth and that it would be a smart investment. For the first time, Michael faltered. His mask cracked. The jury watched it happen. 6 hours later, they came back. Guilty on all counts: fraud, attempted murder, conspiracy, identity theft, financial exploitation. 30 years without parole. When the verdict was read, Michael looked at me across the courtroom. No charm. No control. Just rage. I held hope tighter and didn't look back. Weeks later, Claire, Jennifer, and I met for coffee. The same coffee shop where Michael had once told me I wasn't as smart as he was. The irony wasn't lost on any of us. "How's Hope?" Jennifer asked. "Growing too fast," I said, showing them photos. She smiled for the first time yesterday. "She's beautiful," Claire said. For a moment, none of us spoke. 3 women bound by the same man's cruelty and the choice to finally end it. "What will you do now?" I asked Jennifer. "Stay in Montana, maybe. It's quiet there. But I might visit if that's okay." "It's more than okay." "And you?" I asked Claire. "Going back to school. Forensic accounting. I'm good at finding the truth now." "You always were." I looked down at Hope, asleep beside me. "I'm going to raise my daughter," I said. "Teach her she never has to shrink herself to be loved. That when someone makes her question her own reality, that's her cue to run." "You're a good mother," Claire said. "I'm learning to be." We sat there until the sun dipped low, 3 survivors learning how to live again. Before we left, Jennifer reached for our hands.
"Thank you," she said.
"For believing me, for fighting when I couldn't."
"We all fought," Claire said.
"That's why we won." "No," I said quietly. "That's why we survived." That night, back in my new apartment, smaller, cheaper, but mine, I put Hope to bed and sat in the quiet. Then my phone buzzed. Email notification. From Michael Harper, inmate number 44829. My breath caught. I almost deleted it, but I didn't. "You think you've won. But I'll be out in 15 years for good behavior. And I remember where your mother lives." My hands went cold. For a moment, the air itself felt heavy. Then I remembered what Detective Park had told me the day of sentencing. "Women like you don't just survive, Margaret. You build walls high enough that monsters can't climb them, and you teach your daughters to do the same." I forwarded the email to her. Subject line: evidence of ongoing harassment. Then I blocked his address, changed my number, and checked on Hope. She was still sleeping, safe and peaceful. He was right about one thing. I had won. And I wasn't going to let him take that away. Not now, not ever. 2 years later, Hope took her first steps. It happened on a Saturday morning in our little apartment, sunlight spilling through the windows. She let go of the couch, wobbled, and took 3 determined steps before falling into my arms. I cried. Not just because she walked, but because she was walking in a home where she was safe. Where no one was documenting her milestones to use against me later. Where love wasn't a performance. "Good girl," I whispered. "You're so brave." She laughed, pure, bright, like the sound of healing itself. Claire came by that afternoon. She'd finished her forensic accounting degree and was now working cases that looked too much like ours. In just a year, she'd helped put away 3 men like Michael. "You're making a difference," I told her. "We all are," she said, watching Hope toddle around the room. "Every time we tell our story, every time a woman recognizes the signs, we stop the next Michael Harper." She was right. After the trial, we began speaking at shelters, universities, women's centers, anywhere that would have us. We told our story. The response was overwhelming. That happened to me. I thought I was the only one. "You made me feel seen." We couldn't save everyone, but we saved some. And that mattered. Jennifer visited that Christmas. She was dating again. A quiet man who respected her boundaries and didn't flinch when she said no. "He's good," she said, showing me a photo. "Patient.
Kind."
Nothing like," she trailed off. She didn't have to finish. I'm happy for you, I said. I didn't think I'd ever trust again, she admitted. Took 8 years and a lot of therapy. But I'm learning. That's all any of us can do. We watched Hope tear open presents, shrieking with joy. Her laughter filled the room, and I thought, this is what it feels like when the cycle breaks. She's lucky, Jennifer said softly. She has you. We're all lucky, I said. We survived. Not everyone does. The air grew quiet. During Michael's trial, the prosecution had uncovered 2 more women, one missing, one dead, both linked to him. The evidence wasn't enough for charges. But we all knew. Do you think about them? Jennifer asked. Every day, I said. On Hope's 3rd birthday, a letter arrived. Not from Michael. His communication privileges had been revoked after the threat. This letter was from a woman named Andrea. Dear Margaret, you don't know me, but I know your story. I saw you speak at a women's shelter 6 months ago. Everything you described, moving my things, making me question my memory, calling me too emotional, that's happening to me. 2 weeks ago, I found a life insurance policy on me. I didn't sign it. The signature looks close, but it's not mine. I'm terrified, but I'm also prepared. Because of you, I'm documenting everything. Because of you, I know I'm not crazy. Because of you, I have a chance. Thank you for being brave enough to tell your story. You saved my life. Andrea. I read it 3 times. Then I called Claire. We need to help her, I said. Absolutely. What does she need? Everything we wished we'd had. A lawyer, a forensic accountant, a safety plan. I'll make calls, Claire said immediately. Within weeks, Andrea was free. Her husband tried to destroy her reputation, call her unstable, accuse her of theft. But she had documentation, recordings, proof. Just like we taught her. She won. And now he's the one under investigation. People sometimes ask if I regret marrying Michael. The truth is complicated. I regret the years I lost, the lies I believed, the silence I kept. But I don't regret Hope. And I don't regret what I learned. I learned that love should never require you to shrink. That trust isn't blind faith. That when someone makes you doubt your reality, it's not confusion. It's a warning. I learned that women are stronger together than any predator expects. And that surviving isn't the same as healing, but both are possible if you're willing to fight for them. Last month, Detective Park called. Michael Harper applied for early parole, she said. Hearings next month. He's been in for 3 years, I said. He got 30. I know. It's early. Probably won't be granted. But I thought you should know. I went. So did Claire. So did Jennifer. And Andrea. And 4 more women who had come forward after the trial. 7 women. 7 stories. 7 voices saying the same thing. Not yet. Not safe. Not forgiven. The board denied his parole. Michael turned in his seat, eyes burning with the same rage I'd seen in court. But this time, I didn't look away. I stared back until he did. Because fear only has power if you feed it. Hope is 4 now. She starts preschool this fall. Fearless, curious, unbreakable. Sometimes she asks about her father. Where is he? He's somewhere he can't hurt anyone. Will I meet him? Only if you want to, when you're old enough to decide. She thinks for a moment. I don't think I want to. That's okay, I say. You don't owe him anything. Do I owe you anything? I kneel down, meet her eyes, his eyes, but softer. No, baby. You owe no one anything except kindness when it's deserved and boundaries when it's not. She smiles. I love you, Mommy. I love you too. Last week, I got a letter from Jennifer. She's getting married. To the man who showed her patience and peace instead of power and control. I never thought I'd marry again, she wrote. But I've learned that real love makes you bigger, not smaller. I cried when I read it, and sent back my RSVP immediately. Yes. Absolutely yes. If Jennifer can love again, after everything, then there's hope for all of us. Hope. That's what we gave each other. That's what we keep giving every woman who hears our story and realizes she's not alone. Sometimes, late at night when hope is sleeping, I think about the woman I used to be. The one who met a charming man at a hospital fundraiser and mistook manipulation for love. The one who ignored every red flag because she just wanted to believe she was safe. The one who almost didn't make it out. I wish I could tell her, you're not weak. You're not crazy. The doubt you feel is truth trying to protect you. Listen to it. But I can't go back. All I can do is move forward and help other women do the same. So that's my story. I married a man who wasn't who he said he was. I almost died for it, but I survived. And I made sure he couldn't hurt anyone else. Was it worth it? Every scar, every sleepless night, every moment of fear? Yes. Because I'm free. Because my daughter is safe. Because 7 women are alive. And because somewhere out there, another woman is reading this and realizing, this is happening to me. If that's you, please know, you're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're not overreacting. Trust your instincts. Document everything. Reach out for help. Survival is possible. Healing is possible. You are stronger than the person trying to destroy you. And you are not alone. If you've ever escaped someone who made you doubt your reality, if you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace or keeping yourself, this space is for you. Comment your story. Or just write, I survived. Because that's how we win. Not by staying silent. Not by shrinking. But by speaking. By standing together. By refusing to let predators hide in the dark. Subscribe if you believe survivors. Share this story if you know someone who needs to hear it. Because we did more than survive. We reclaimed our voices. And now we're helping others do the same.